Hello and welcome back to This Day in History. It is June 2nd, 2024. There is a lot here, and I have to kind of burn through it quickly because I am running behind. So let's just get into the birthdays. I will note that today there's a lot of references um, to the anti-slavery movement, to black rights, to just it just seems like this day in general is just it's a it was a pivotal point in history all throughout the ages there. So which is interesting in and of itself. Today's birthdays for July 2nd, 1898. Anthony C. McAuliffe, he was a U.S. general. 1908, Thurgood Marshall. We talked about him the other day because it was the anniversary of his passing away. He was a SCOTUS judge, a Supreme Court judge. His birthday was today in 1908. We talked about Medgar Evers here recently, and I believe it was the anniversary of his death, probably. But he was born in 1925. I didn't realize that he was my grandfather's age. My grandfather was also born in 1925. But Medgar Evers, he was an African American activist. He was murdered in 1963. His murder had gained national attention, and then he quickly became a martyr for the civil rights movement. Like I had said in that other video, Whoopi Goldberg played his wife in a docudrama style movie that was based on him, where it took 3 decades, but the person responsible, or who they believed was responsible for his murder, was brought to trial, so that there was finally some justice and closure for the family. I don't recall what year that was, but I don't remember. Another 1925 birthday, Patrice Lumumba. He was the first prime minister of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and he was PM in 1960. 1929, we see that's the birthday of Imelda Marcos. And if you don't know who Imelda Marcos was, she was a Filipino public figure. She was the wife of a politician, and I think she got into politics herself. Wasn't very well liked. She liked to live a lavish lifestyle, liked to spend money. The biggest criticism about her was that she should have been in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most pairs of shoes. She loved buying. I mean, she had a huge shoe, collection of shoes. A lot of folks thought that, and that's always the plight of the poor man versus the rich man, where they always complain about the rich spending their money lavishly and the poor barely getting by. That's the world we live in, though. I mean, it's not right to take possessions from those who have much, just to dole it out to those who have little. I mean, it'd be nice if the rich would dole their own finances out to help others, but that's a hard issue that they need to do that for themselves. It's not right for a third party to say, you have too much, we're taking from you. That's just my 2 cents on this subject. But at any rate, her birthday was today in 1929. 1947, Larry David was an American comedian, writer, or is an American comedian and writer. And those are the birthdays for July 2nd. On this day in 1644, the Battle of Marston Moor took place. Parliamentary forces defeated the Royalists in the first major defeat in the English Civil Wars. 1776, after an all-night ride from Delaware, Delegate Caesar Rodney arrived just in time to cast a decisive vote in whether or not we were going to declare our independence from England. The Declaration of Independence was voted on July 2nd, and it was July 4th that it was actually signed, ratified, and then sent to England to let them know that we're declaring our independence. We no longer recognize you as our sovereign. And we know what happened after that. 1822, Denmark Vesey was someone who was hanged in Charleston, South Carolina, for planning a slave revolt. It was a huge deal. It was like one of the most massive slave revolts of the time, and so Denmark got hanged for his trouble. 1939, there was a slave rebellion that occurred on the ship Armistead. The mutineers were deemed kidnapped victims instead of merchandise. So they weren't viewed as slaves; they were viewed as kidnapped persons, and so therefore, as a result, they were acquitted, and it was a major victory for the abolitionist movement. 1881, President Garfield was shot on this day, and he would die several weeks later due to complications of that gunshot wound. Note, he died September 19th, 1881. In 1900, the very first flight of a Zeppelin took place in Lake Constance, Germany. In 1923, I forgot to put this in there, Wisława Szymborska was born. She was a Nobel Prize winner for literature in 1996. Her penned works, she rejected socialism, and a lot of her penned works explored a lot of philosophical and moral issues. In 1932, FDR, that's Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he coined the phrase "the New Deal" in his acceptance speech when he accepted the Democratic presidential nomination. 1937 this is the day that we lose Amelia Earhart. She was America's first female aviator, licensed aviator. She had attempted to circumnavigate, have a flight go global. She and her co-pilot, radio man, whatever his title was, they disappeared over the Central Pacific Ocean and never to be seen or heard from again. And that happened on this day in 1937. In 1962, businessman Sam Walton would open up his very first Walmart store in Rogers, Arkansas. And so that's why you have the Sam's Club, which is an affiliate to Walmart. It's because it's based off of Sam Walton, the founder of that store chain. 1979, Susan B. Anthony, the Susan B. Anthony coin was first issued. She was the first woman to ever be depicted on U.S. currency. In 1997, James Stewart died at the age of 89. Now, if you don't know who James Stewart was, he was an actor and he was a World War II veteran, and he was an actor in the 50s and 60s. He died in 1997 at the age of 89. He's probably best known for his role in It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Christmas movie. We fast forward to 2002, an American adventurist, Steve Fawcett, became the first balloonist to circumnavigate the world all by himself. In 2008, the Colombian politician Ingrid Betancourt, she was rescued by soldiers posing as international aid workers. The FARC guerrillas, F-A-R-C, guerrillas, they'd held her hostage for like 6 years until she was rescued, and she was rescued on this day in 2008. In 2016, on this day, Romanian-born Jewish writer Elie Wiesel, he died at the age of 87. He won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1986. A lot of his works were reflective of his time in the concentration camps. A lot of his work depicts what life was like for the Jews in the concentration camps. In today's featured event, it's on this day in 1964 that LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, would sign the Civil Rights Act into law, which was a major win for civil rights. It basically had established the civil rights as being law of the land. It was the beginning of the end for the Jim Crow laws. He signed it basically to make himself look good. What a lot of people don't realize is that he was a card-carrying member of the KKK. He actually hated black people. He was a big racist. The only reason why he bothered to sign, well, first of all, he did it in Kennedy's name. Do it for Jack. Jack really wanted this. We should really do it for him. Right, bastard, he killed him. Oh, did I say that? Sorry. At any rate, his big thing is that he wanted to be the president to be known for the most bills being passed. Like, he wanted to be known historically as being like the most effective president. And but the reality is that he also knew that by signing the Civil Rights Act, it also ensured that he could endear the Democratic Party to black voters for the next 50 to 100 years. And it's true. There are a lot of Democrats tend to be black. A lot of black Democrat voters tend to vote because they feel that that party is the champion of their plight. And it's no secret historically that LBJ basically used them as a pawn to keep the Democrats in the forefront for the next 50 to 100 years. Now, that's not to say that they've always been in the forefront, but it was, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. It was great. It needed to happen. It was about damn time that the civil rights movement was put to rest, and that the Civil Rights Act was passed and leveled the playing field for everybody. That's a good thing. The motivations behind his reasoning for promoting it, not so good. He's still using people to make himself look good, and I have an issue with that. But then again, being a Kennedy relative myself, I mean, I'm distantly related to the Kennedys. We have no liking for the guy anyway, so there's that. This has been This Day in History. I've got to scoot. So have a blessed day. Take care. Be well. And we'll do it again tomorrow for July 3rd. All right? Be well. Take care. Bye.